24th, right before Christmas. I'm very excited. And it is, instead of opening a box, Pandora opens an attachment and brings about technological Armageddon. And there's an MMO in it, so it actually takes place on 3 levels. There's a massive multiplayer online game, there's a physical scavenger hunt that they have to do as well, and then there's, just the regular playing as well. And so it's a lot of work, but it was a lot of fun.
Are you done with that one, Tracy?
Yes, I'm done. I actually wrote that before Tempest Unleashed.
Really?
And then, we had to rush Tempest Unleashed and that kind of thing because they wanted it for summer, which is why they pushed it back to December for the 6-month difference. And then Ellie also has a book coming out in December.
Yeah, I have a YA paranormal coming out that is, I have scary vampires, because I feel like vampires should actually be blood-sucking monsters. So in my world, the vampires have taken over the United States, and they've forced teenagers onto college campuses, and they're raising them as food. And my story is called The Farm. It's going to be out in December from Berkeley. And in it, my heroine, Lily, is trying to get her sister Mel off the farm and escape to Canada.
Yeah, teenagers are the food of choice.
Because vampires don't live in Canada. It's too cold up there.
Right. Right. That's actually what my heroine is hoping. She doesn't know for sure.
Oh, okay, I have to get up and talk to you guys. I can't see everybody, but On Our Dark Wing is the book that just came out for me. And it's a story of starts out with a 10-year-old girl who's in a horrific car accident and she loses her mother, and that accident defines her. She can't get past it because of the guilt that she feels that she contributed to the accident. And so it's just torn apart her life, and she can't get back on track. 5 years later, at that time, she crosses the path of death. And she takes his hand. 5 years later, he hasn't forgotten her, and he comes back with his own agenda. And the story is set in Alaska. There's a treacherous mountain climb up Mount Denali. I lived in Alaska for 10 years. I'm very familiar with Denali. Had some expert advice on climbing the mountain. And anyway, it's kind of a peculiar little story of the Grim Reaper and his a girl dealing with death and learning about real love, what's fantasy love versus real solid friendship kind of love. And anyway, I just really enjoyed it. And I do have some little goodies here, little Kit Kat bars, which are the favorite of Abby Chandler, the character in the book. She used to take these and put them on her little windowsill to freeze them so they would get cold and crunchy. And so I have some of those that she wanted me to share with you. And then I also wanted to share with you too, we've got a blog called Adrenaline. It's part of the brand, the tour that we're doing with Dark YA, but these are some of the authors that are on our blog. If you check us out on blogspot.com, you will find some amazing posts out there every day from these authors and some really wonderful Dark YA. My next book is I'm working on right now, and it's a series with Harlequin team called The Hunted. And basically, it's very strange, but I don't know if you guys have heard about Indigo and Crystal Kids and Star Children. Well, I've got a group of my thoughts on psychic kids, and they're being hunted by a fanatical church in the streets of LA. And it's kind of a creepy story, but there's a great cast of characters, and there's going to be humor in it, and I'm just really loving this. In fact, one of the bloggers, I don't know if you guys know Booktorps, Odell, he ended up suggesting a music post for me, and now he's a villain in my stories. So anyway, he's a lot of fun.
Is it an open-ended series, or?
I'm going to probably be open to it. Right now, it's we're not sure. It can go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. So fun.
Hi, I'm Cece Hunter. I'll stand up too, not that it'll help much. But all right, Shadow Falls, Born at Midnight was the first one. Wake at Dawn came out, and this one is about to come out in April. It's taken at dusk. And basically how I got started was I actually wrote adult romances. And St. Martin's actually came to me and asked me if I would be interested in writing a young adult series. And my answer to them was, I don't write young adult. And they said, you don't write young adult yet. And I said, but I don't read young adult. You don't read young adult yet. And I said, when I was a young adult, I didn't read young adult. And they said, well, forget that one. But would you be interested? And I said, why me? And their answer kind of surprised me. They said, she actually said, because you are a smartass. And teens really, really like that. And so I got to thinking about it, yeah, I guess I am. But you know, my mama told me that was never going to get me anywhere in life. But she said they were wrong. So I actually started writing it, and they had a 2-word pitch, which was paranormal camp. And they wanted me to take that and run and write the story. And, you know, my question was, okay, what kind of paranormals? And she said, that's up to you. And I said, well, where is it going to take place? And she said, that's up to you. And I said, well, who is my main character? And she said, that is up to you. And I said, I'm going to make a lot of money, right? And she said, we'll see. I really wanted the other one. But so I started out writing, and I come up with the idea of Kylie. And at first I didn't know what she was. And I figured I would figure it out as I started writing. And then I realized what was driving me to write was trying to figure out what she was. And I figured maybe I needed the readers to try to have that same anxious feeling that we don't know what she is. And so I actually started putting that into the book, and that's where the whole idea of what is she came from after I started writing it and actually sold it. It is going to be a 5-book series. This is the 3rd book. The title on the 4th book is Whispers at Moonrise. We don't yet know on the 5th book the title yet, but a lot of people ask me, is it Lucas or is it going to be Derek? Because that's the 2 guys. And I tell them, I don't know. I mean, I just figured out what she was not too long ago. I don't know who is going to be chosen. I think I really have written myself in a corner because they are both wonderful guys.
It's so hard, isn't it? Like right now, I'm finishing the 3rd Tempest, and it's which one? All my friends want to know. It's awful because they're both really good guys.
They're good guys. I mean, you know, it's bad when you've written.
It's hard.
It is. And you know, I even suggested, well, whoever doesn't get the girl, can I write her story after his story after that? So you know, and I'm like, no, we want a new series, and I'm going, well, that means one of my guys are going to be heartbroken. That's just going to really hurt. But anyway,
Maybe she's a long-lost twin sister.
maybe, you know, I mean, somehow. But anyway, this is the 3rd book. I am having a blast writing them, and I'm honored to be here today with all this presence and greatness here. And so there it is, Born at Midnight, Shadow Falls, and like I said, the 4th book is, I'm working on it right now. So Whispers at Midnight.
Hi, I'm Ellie James, and I'm very happy to be down here. I'm from Dallas, is where I live. I'm here with Shattered Dreams, which is the first book in the Midnight Dragonfly series. Shattered Dreams follows a teenage psychic in New Orleans. I'm from Louisiana originally, and you know I grew up in the deep south of Louisiana with all the empty buildings and legends, and I've always just kind of loved ghosts and things that can't be explained. So Shattered Dreams follows the story of Trinity as she arrives in New Orleans, a 16-year-old girl with no idea of who she is, what her parents were like, her legacy, and she begins piecing her life together in New Orleans. It was kind of a fun thing for me. I had never written young adult before, and about 3.5 years ago I had a baby, and he was very premature, and I had a lot of time in my hands just sitting with him, rocking him, and just kind of thinking about what I wanted to do after I was done caring for his prematurity. And I had a dream one night, and I had this scene in my head of a bunch of teens breaking into an abandoned mansion in the Garden District and playing a game of Truth or Dare. And I was really surprised because I'd never written young adult, but I had this scene in my head, and it was so vivid to me, and I really wanted to explore what was going on with these teens. And that's the opening scene of this story.
And it is great. It is a great scene too.
Thank you.
I love that. I
It was
didn't
just
know
so-
that was what inspired it.
It was,
but
and
in the book it really comes
And
out.
it was one of those things where the scene led to the story. I had this scene, it's like, okay, what happens now? And the way I always viewed my character Trinity was the daughter of a devout Catholic father and a voodoo priestess mother. And I was really stunned when voodoo priestess terrified New York. I thought voodoo priestess, that would be a really, because again, deep South Louisiana, New Orleans, you know, no one thinks twice about, you know, voodoo dolls or voodoo or anything, you know, it's no big deal. But it terrified New York, and so they told me I could not mention anything voodoo, she could not have anything to do with voodoo, so I kind of tap dance around and allude to things sometimes, but it's not prominent. But in my mind, she was always special, different, and kind of from that Louisiana ilk. So there are 3 books in the series so far. Shattered Dreams is the first. Broken Illusions comes out in May. It's the second. And Fragile Darkness is the third, and it's out this fall. And there are 2 boys also.
Nope.
So.
So I think we're